Well, good morning, guys. It's Pastor Andy. Today's August the 10th, and we're looking at Psalm 132. Psalm 132 has everything to do with my responsibilities to God. It starts off talking about David and then this prayer reminding God about David. Let's look at verse 1. Lord, remember David and all that he suffered. He made a solemn promise to the Lord. He vowed to the Mighty One of Israel, I will not go home. I will not let myself rest. I will not let my eyes sleep, nor close my eyelids in slumber, until I find a place to build a house for the Lord, a sanctuary for the Mighty One of Israel. David would not rest until he found a place where they could worship the Lord, where they could build the tabernacle or the temple, and where they could put the ark, and where they would worship God. The place to worship God was so important to David. And as I read that this morning, I couldn't help but think, is God's house, is the place where we come to worship, is it that important to me? Is it something that I won't rest until I can get there? I want to make sure everything is good. I want to be there. David said in another place that he would rather be a doorkeeper in the house of the Lord than anything else. Do I really feel that way? Do I feel like, God, I want you more than anything? That's the way David felt. And then he begins to express to God his joyful worship. In verse 7 he says, let us go to the sanctuary of the Lord. Let us worship at the footstool of his throne. My responsibility to God is to give God his rightful place, to make sure I have that place to worship him, then to express joyful worship to him. Am I really expressing joyful worship to God? I'm not just talking about Sunday where we come to church and we worship God. I'm talking about every day of the week. Am I spending time worshiping God? Worship is to give worth to something. It shows worthship, attributing worth to something. Am I attributing worth to God by the way that I live my life? Am I stopping and thanking him for what he's done for me? Am I putting him as the highest priority, giving the worth to him? Is he the highest priority in my life? Is every decision I make based upon my relationship with him? That's what true worship is. Am I worshiping him with joyfulness? And then I'm reminding God of his covenant. Verse 11, the Lord swore an oath to David with a promise that he would never take back. Do you know there's a lot of promises in God's word for us today? There's a lot of prayer promises that we can pray, and God has promised that he'll hear us and answer us. That's one of the promises. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. Seek, and ye shall find. Those are promises that God has given to us. Am I claiming those promises and reminding God, God, you promised that you would hear my prayers. You promised that you would meet my needs. You promised that your seed would never be, that your people would never be begging for bread and go without. Lord, you promised to take care of me. Are we reminding God of the promises that he's made for us? And then in this last section here, we're trusting God for his blessings. Verse 15, I will bless this city and make it prosperous. God is the one who brings the blessings. Now, I'm supposed to do my part, but ultimately, the blessings come from God, and we have to trust him for that. My responsibilities towards God, I've got to give him his rightful place. His rightful place is as the supreme in my life. I've got to give him my joyful worship. I've got to remember his promises towards me, and then I got to trust him for the blessings. Are you doing that in your life? Are you keeping God as the prime number one thing? You see, that's what all of this put together is. It's keeping God as number one. Is God number one in your life? Is he on the throne of your life? Or are you on the throne of your own life? I hope you get in this psalm and you get in God's word and read it for yourself and see what he has for you. And until tomorrow, God bless you and have a great day.